You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dini Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Yesterday, we discussed the importance of having a vision and why. Naturally, as masters of the how, the first thing we'll want to know is how. How do we find a why? It is really very easy. You find a why by asking why. Think of something you want. Chances are the first thing you think of will be something material. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure it is something you really want, not something you say you want because you think you should. I'm going to use as an example a boat. Not just any boat, but a 50-foot sailing yacht with seaworthy rigging and a big comfortable living space. Next step, ask yourself why. Why do I want this boat to sail to the South Pacific? Again, ask yourself why. Why do I want to sail to the South Pacific? Well, let's see. I've always wanted to do it, but I just kind of took it for granted. I guess because it would be an exciting adventure. And again, ask why. Why do I want an exciting adventure? Well, that's kind of getting tough. I want an exciting adventure because I want to experience life to the fullest. That's fair enough. That's a good reason. And why do I want to experience life to the fullest? Whew, this is getting a little intense. I want to experience life to the fullest because I am fascinated by the possibilities that life offers. Fascinated? Well, okay, I admit it. I'm obsessed with the possibilities that life offers. Now we're getting somewhere. And why am I obsessed with the possibilities that life offers? The answer, because that's me. Bingo, we're there. We ask why enough times that we gotten it down to the ultimate why. And that, by the way, is mine as nearly as I can determine it. Though the example given is not the way I arrived at it, I'm driven by possibilities. That is my why. How will you know it will reach? Or how will you know when you reach yours? Trust me, you'll know it. It'll be a very emotional experience when you get to the basic of why of the basic of the why of your life, and a very empowering experience because once you've been there, so many things will become clear. To borrow a line from Disney's Pocahontas, I have young kids. You'll see things you never knew you never knew. You'll gain a deeper, clearer understanding of yourself and your place in the world and appreciation of what your life has to offer. That's my word. Word is bond. Take it from me, dini-mussolini.
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
Yo, it feels so good to be back with you guys once again. So one time for my people who are indigos and starseeds, and 2 times for my people who are vegans. We are averaging over 34,000 plus listeners, and we've been at this for 3 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who've been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we're still growing, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, art, movies, and research in every aspect, and we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on the show, from Grammy Award-winning artists, nominees, to actors, comedians, CEOs, technology geniuses, visual artists, from authors to professors, and aliens. Or people who think they're aliens. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out. To book an interview or just to share a real cool story, email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. I'm passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together, yes, together, we can get your voice heard by the people who should hear it. So let's create something incredible. And with that, hello out there, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, Vigilantes Radio. Thank you again, as always, for tuning in and being a part of our audience family. You know the number to dial. It's 701-801-9813 to connect with us or our guests, or you can hop in the mix directly from my website, which is onlyonemediagroup.com. Scroll over to the Vigilantes Radio tab and slap that go live button, and you'll be right here live in the mix with all of us, or in the chat room. So feel free to shoot over some questions to ask our guests while they are here. And as always, all episodes are available for free download. You can grab that from Spreaker.com/onlyonemediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, the app called Podcast Addict, or over at our website. And that goes for every single episode that we've ever aired. We are the people who have dedicated their weekdays, nights to music, books, movies, news, business ventures, conspiracies, and just talking every aspect. From our incredible writing and promotion here on our new Facebook, by the way, make sure you go like us there, to our interviews and music show on Vigilantes Radio, our Skeptics, where we talk money, music business, relationships, and spirituality. We spend each and every day giving our maximum effort to create a vibrant, exciting indie and professional community for all creative minds that coexist in this beautiful artistic world. Our special guest today is Linda-Chatmon.
All right. Hello, Miss Linda-Chatmon. Can you hear me very good?
I really can. It's a great connection.
All right. Awesome. So how are you, by the way?
I am fantastic.
All right. So shall we dive deep into this interview and get this thing wrapped up?
Let's do it.
All right. So how did the birth of Contracts-and-Grants-llc grow from being an idea concept into a full-blown established company in the state of Georgia?
Well, it started because I was sitting in front of my employer 22 years ago, and he asked me a question and asked me if I could be doing anything in the world at that moment, what would it be? And so I told him I would have my own business, and it would be to train and develop entrepreneurs. But because I was not there yet, I had to become an entrepreneur, which I did. And so the rest is history. I started in 1995, and I started the business, got my own contracts and grants from a county there. It was a government contract. And so people were more impressed with the fact that I had gotten my own contracts and did my own 501c3 than they were with me actually training individuals. And at that time, I had a contract training individuals from welfare to work. So that's kind of how it started. People were impressed that I could get my own contracts and grants. And when my training contract ended, I had tons of people wanting to consult with me about, how to get contracts and how to get grants and how to do the 501c3. So that's kind of how it started.
Definitely. So what is it on your website that you feel are the key elements that would easily identify from other websites and blogs that cover similar topics related to small business development?
Well, what I think when people go to the website, they see an immediate link that gives them the opportunity to, to speak with me or to join a session where we have questions and answers. Most people, when it comes to contracts and grants, they have all kinds of questions, and they go to these workshops, and the speaker, they just talk, and none of the people get a chance to answer their questions. So when you go to my website, linda-chatmon.com, you will see an immediate link that says questions and answers Mondays from 5 to 6. So it gives people an immediate opportunity to speak with me about things that they'd have questions about without having to sit through an entire seminar before they could ask their question.
Definitely. All right. So what have you guys accomplished now with the development of your own business engine compared to where you first started out and might not have been able to make, create, or sell back then?
Wow. Back then, it was more about, consulting with companies. Since 2011, we started quantifying. Prior to 2011, I did a lot of consulting. I did a lot of showing people how to do the work, how to get the contracts, how to write the proposals. But 2011, we decided that we would bring that in-house, excuse me, and instead of just consulting, we would become a full-service firm. And we did that, and since 2011, we've gotten $12.2 billion with a B, $billion in contracts and grants awards for our clients. So going from consulting to service provider was our economic engine.
Oh, wow. And was CNG your first business startup?
It was. Contracts and Grants was my first, but I've gone on to have 7 brands. So, yeah, that was my first.
All right. So let's talk about your first and the lessons that you learned along the way from building that up.
Well, I think I learned the lesson that when you have a very unique skill set, and Contracts and Grants is a very unique skill set, unlike marketing and some other, services. Once you realize you have a unique skill set, you find that people would rather just pay you to do it than to consult with them, sort of like taxes. I mean, I think each one of us, if we, sat down and read the rules, we probably could do it ourselves, but who wants to? It's like, I don't want to do it. And so that's what I've learned, that when people are trying to give you some business, take it and create a platform where you can sell them those services.
Right. Okay. So what about walking us through the process and triumphs of the first small business that you secured a contract for, like your very first client that you hit the nail on?
Oh, wow. Well, the triumph was that it was one of our first customers that we were going to do full service.
Oh, wow.
We were going to do full service proposal work for, but the big lessons learned was they only had 3 days to do it, and anybody who knows, 3 days is not a long time. So I just didn't think we were going to get it done, and we did. We got it done, and the contract was awarded. But during that same week, I got a call from a client in Afghanistan who was a startup. He was a startup, and he was going after a $156 million contract, and he didn't even have a company. So I think that's probably our biggest thing that I'm most proud of is in that same week we were able to put the bid together, submit it, and believe it or not, that startup company was awarded that $156 million contract in Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
So, the worst thing was also the best thing. We got through it, but it was certainly not under the best set of circumstances.
Okay. And I was just under the impression that Contracts and Grants was only available in Georgia. That is not true, right?
Oh, no, probably 95% of our customers I've never even met.
Wow.
95% of our customers, we do virtual work. So we've mastered the whole virtualization thing. And that's because, even before I started the company, back 22 years ago, before it was even fashionable, I worked for a large pharmaceutical company that was headquartered in Japan. So all of my direct reports were in Japan. So I had to learn how to communicate and to be performance-based while communicating with people who were not immediately, close to me. They were, oceans away. So that's how I've learned and been able to master working virtually and creating teams and collaborating virtually. But yeah, I would probably say 95 of our customers are outside of Georgia, And another 95% we've not even met. Believe it or not, the customer that we have in Georgia, I just met him about 6 months ago, and we've been doing business for over 3 years. So
wow.
It's easily transferable skill set.
Definitely. And I'm sure you worked with and experienced different types of companies that have called upon you. Has your approach and strategy changed, though, since the formation of Contracts and Grants?
Yeah, it changed because of what I alluded to a little earlier, which was, we started out as a consulting firm, and now we are a full-fledged service business that not only do we do consulting, we also do proposal support, but we've recently just added some products. And that's important because, with consulting and with proposal support, you're only as good as your bandwidth. So if there's ever, if I didn't have enough people to work for me, or if we had more projects than I had people, that was money that I had to turn down. So I decided to come up with the Road to Government Contracts Fast Track, which is a product that we sell, which is a videotape series tutorial that you do at your leisure. We have 3. You can do it and do it at your leisure, self-paced, or we have a 6-week class simulated experience and a 12-week simulated experience. And what I mean by that is we take a person from the time they identify an opportunity all the way through submitting that opportunity, and they pretend they're the contractor, and we pretend that we are the government agency. So they go through the exact same process as if they were submitting a real bid. And then I have my two books, The Road to Government Contracts, and the other one is called Grant Worthy. So those are our product lines.
Okay. And I was just going to mention those, the books as well. So tell us why, or basically tell us about the books that you've written and why we need them in our lives.
Okay. Well, the Road to Government Contracts, everybody kept making the same mistakes. And I've been doing it so long, and I've been, I wanted to create something that would not make everybody have to go through the same, and make the same mistakes. So I figured I would come up with a book that talked about the steps to get from identification of an opportunity right on down through submission. So once you read the book, and it's not one of those books that are, that is hard to read and it's so bureaucratic. It's really easy reading. I made it very lighthearted and it's kind of funny. And I just talked a lot about a lot of stories about what happened when those things were going on. So it's a great way to. It's a great tool for you to read to see if before you step out there, it's like, is this something I really, really want to do? And it just kind of walks you through that process. The other one is Grant Worthy, and that is for nonprofit organizations or organizations that want to, or people who want to start a nonprofit organization. And it talks about those things that you need to do and be prepared for when you're going to be seeking grants from the government and any other corporate givers. So those 2 books are really kind of step-by-step guides, but they're easy to read and fun to read. But at the end of them, you will have a very strong idea of what it takes to be successful in both the contracts market as well as the grant markets, but both in the federal government space.
Definitely. All right. So I'd imagine that the spot in life that you are in, and this happened to me, and I'm sure it happened to a lot of other business venturers out there when it comes to change, that struggle to know which path to follow in life. For me, it was transitioning from working a job to where I know I'll get paid in a week or in 2 weeks to being my own boss, where I have to get up every day and think about, train my brain to automatically think money and how to get money, how to create money. And
right.
sometimes all those things seem endless and full of possibilities. Some people choose to experience as much as they can. Others choose to focus hard on one path and learn everything they can. But knowing which of those 2 options will work for you personally later in life is very tough. As the attention to your business and clients grow, as your passion and love and dedication to your work continues, those life decisions all become more difficult in the background. What have you noticed that has changed in your life since you made that decision to form a company, to work for yourself, and how have you dealt with those changes?
Wow. I've dealt with those changes by creating a brand for each one of those situations. Originally, I used to think, you got to form a gazillion companies, or one company has to do a gazillion things. Or in some cases, everyone said, oh, my gosh, Linda, you're all over the place. You've got so many things going on. You just got to focus. You got to focus. You got to focus. And I'm like, why? I don't have to focus. I can do 20 things at one time. So for some people, focusing, is great. Me, I tend to have a lot of things going on, but they all share one thing in common. Even though I own 7 different brands, they all have one thing in common. The one thing they have in common is that they all speak to the needs of small businesses and entrepreneurs. So whether or not I am developing apps, whether I'm writing contracts and grants, whether or not I'm teaching, everything is relatable to a small business. So I encourage anyone that has a lot of things going on, you've got to find some congruence. You've got to find products and services that complement each other for 2 reasons. One, so that you are able to put some level of effort in everything, and you don't have a lot of open-ended things. But more importantly, you create a situation where your customers have more than one thing to buy from you. So if you create a set of products and services that complement one another, then as soon as your customer buys one thing from you, then they'll go on and buy something else from you. So the goal is to recycle your customers. And the only way that you can do that is continue to provide them products and services that they find valuable. And I have that issue with some of my clients with government contracts. They will go out. They'll go out and they'll deal with 4 or 5 different agencies and just try to sell, maybe software development. They'll try to sell software development to 7 different agencies, and I'm like, my God, you got to sell yourself to 7 different agencies. Why not stick with that one agency that has already bought your services, loves your services, and would buy anything else from you that you sold to them? All you've got to do is create more things to sell them. And those that have done that have gone on to grow really, really fast because they didn't have to take the time for the learning curve for the customer to get to know them. And then I just teamed them with other companies who provided things that they didn't, and let them use their customer and let the company that I teamed them with provide the actual services. So they did the project management of the services, but someone else actually provided that end user experience.
Definitely. So nowadays, what's the bigger picture for you?
Wow. The bigger picture for me is, and it will never be retirement. I will always do. But I'm actually living my bigger picture. Wow. And I guess only within the last 30 days, I've accepted an appointment to be the president of a Chamber of Commerce.
Wow.
So my bigger picture is, thank you. My bigger picture is being able to clone what I did in my private business, contracts and grants, and now I can actually move it over to the nonprofit environment and serve more customers. So I will take what we did for our customers at Contracts and Grants, and we'll just implement an incubator system at the Chamber of Commerce so that more people can participate at less cost, and we still have more people to team and, to team with. So now, I have, and all of my customers have committed 5% of every contract they get. They're going to give 5% of that to the Chamber of Commerce so that we can provide contracts to those people who join our Chamber of Commerce. And those people can be all over the world. It doesn't matter. If your product or service can be provided in virtually, then we will have a constant flow of contracts, and we're only going to be teaming and subcontracting to the people that are members of our chamber.
Man, that is massive, and bravo for that.
Thank you.
Definitely. So what's the bigger picture for your clients in their cities, in your opinion? Well, the bigger picture for my clients is going, and they don't even know it yet. I haven't announced it, so this is my first public announcement. You're hearing it first here. But we have created, and it won't be in effect until 2019, but one of the biggest challenges that small businesses have is, okay, great, you get a contract, now what? So you got a person who's just got a $2 million contract,
but they may not have the funds available to stand that project up for 90 days before they get their first check from the government. And so long, people have always talked, all you hear about at workshops is access to capital, access to capital, access to capital. And then you get to the workshop and they start talking about loans, typical traditional loans, which most small businesses are not eligible for. They either don't have the collateral, or the CEO has just, has extended his own personal credit to the point where he just doesn't have any more credit, and so they're not eligible for traditional loans. So what we decided to do was, just like we created a contracts exchange program where people do exchange contracts with each other, we're going to do a capital exchange program. And what that means is everybody is going to contribute into a pool. And once that customer reaches $2,500 in that pool, they become eligible for a no credit check, no interest loan, so that when they get a contract, they have money to stand it up. And because it's their money, everybody will be on the board and they will be able to vote. Now, there's only going to be two criteria. The first criteria is that it's first come, first served, and that it can never be more than half of what is in the pool. So if we have, say, $100,000 in the pool, then one company can get $50,000, and then in 90 days that loan renews, or by then we are hoping that he would have gotten his first check from the federal government, and so that frees up $50,000 for someone else. But it's a pool. We figure we get 100 people putting in $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever the amount is. But once you get to that amount, that's your money. So, and then since all of the people who have access to that fund are giving contracts as subcontracts to other people in that pool, everybody's doing business with each other. So everybody benefits.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So tell us about this new fancy app and what's popping with the App Diva. And be sure to tell us about all the bells and whistles and features of the app.
Okay, well, I created the app because, like, I think the entrepreneurs, we're just different. We are we are just like the most, we just are totally different than anybody else on the planet. Mm-hmm. So I noticed that there were some common denominators and some characteristics that were common among entrepreneurs that may not necessarily be common among others. So my apps are designed for entrepreneurs, small business owners, celebrities, entertainers, and sports and professional athletes. And that's because the value of our time cannot be measured, because 1 hour can make all the difference in the world. So that's what Right Now is about. Right Now is an app, and it's in beta test right now. So, and it's only in Android, but over the next 6 months, we're going to turn them into actually web-based portals, because people are getting away from downloading apps, and they just want to be able to click on a link and do the same thing with Google Maps. So we'll be doing that in the next 6 months. But what Right Now is just like Uber, except no matter where you are, if you click a button, now you can, with Uber, you can, get a ride. But Right Now is for any professional service. So when I travel, and I want my hair done, and all of a sudden, a meeting get canceled, so I've got a 2-hour window. I can immediately see who has an appointment available within the next 2 hours and within a 50-mile radius, no matter where in the world I am. So I don't have to know who to call when I get there. I can just see who's signed on and who can take me as a customer. So that's what Right Now is about. And what's popping is one of my favorite ones, and it is an app where it has its exact same concept, but instead of clicking on transportation or a car to come get you, you're saying, give me, I want to see what's going on or what's popping within a 50-mile radius right now. So it will show you, you'll get to see live feeds from those places, and it allows you to do. And what's important about that is, if you're traveling to another, city, you don't want to ride around to 4 or 5 different places because someone tells you, oh, you should go here, you should go there, you should go here. Instead, you want to sit in your hotel lobby, click a button, and click on, oh, okay, all right, that's an older crowd. Nope, not for me. Oh, wow, I like the way they're dressed. I think I'll go there. So it's kind of like a sneak peek before you before you, put on your clothes or get dressed, so that you'll know exactly, where you're going before you leave. So you're not over or underdressed.
Definitely. So were you there every step of the way of the development of this app, or did you just leave all the technicalities to the experts?
I did. I actually subcontracted to developers to develop it, because I'm more of a visionary. I know what I wanted it to do, but the amount of time that it would have taken me to do it would have cost me money, because the thing that I really know how to do would have to suffer, because I can't be two places at one time. So I let someone else do the developing. Yep.
Definitely. I agree with that one. All right, Linda, thank you so much for this interview. It was really cool digging into all the details of the formation of Contracts-and-Grants LLC, and truly thank you for discussing everything so out in the open. It's my personal hope that, it's my personal hope that genuine people like yourself never lose that ability to connect and communicate as they continue through their careers and the empires that they build. But I get a true sense that you will be okay. We don't have to worry about you at all. So at this point, I'd like to invite you to say anything else at all that you would like to in this final moment, anything that you wanted to talk about that I didn't mention or get to, anything that comes to mind.
No, I'm just looking forward to tuning in, and if you will send me the information of where I can tune in, I'll be more than happy to support, this venture of yours, which is, of course, a radio. So I'd love to be a listener and perhaps a sponsor at some point. So if you'll send that information over to me, I'll be sure to tune in.
All right. Thank you very much, and I will do.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab it from either Spreaker.com/only1media group, iTunes, YouTube, the app called Podcast Addict, or our website, which is only1mediagroup.com, and that goes for every single show that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or send something for us to play, email it to theRadio@only1mediagroup.com. Here my disclaimer: we are genre-free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, something you got to deal with. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, dini-mussolini, I appreciate you guys for tuning in either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. And also special thanks to our guests for joining us. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Tumblr. We are all over. Just connect with us, and we do follow back. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely freaking great at just doing that. Peace.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.